In the section of the meeting of other matters, we have 3 speakers. This is not a matter on the agenda about which we're taking a vote, but we have extra time today, so we are delighted to have you speak. If you could keep your comments, please, to 2 minutes each. The first we have is Charles Marsala.
Thank you, Councilman Head. The other 2 cards have given their 2 minutes to me, so I'll go for 6. I've addressed you guys a few times in the past, most recently on the pension issue, and I do want to give you an update on that. As you know, I was a former mayor in California. I'm from here and went out to California for about 30 years, was in Silicon Valley. Recently, New Orleans was listed as one of the top 5 cities for unfunded pensions and of places of risk.
Oh, but there are 4 others that are worse than us, maybe.
Well, there's 300
that's
cities
a joke.
in America.
I think that's
absurd. I'm with you on that, and there are 300 other cities. So, as you know, you guys have dropped off. Your funding unfunded pension liabilities have increased tremendously in the last few years, and if you go to a more accurate annual rate of return, you lose about another 6 to 10% on your funding ratios. So that's definitely something to think about. The other thing, I recently talked, I had signed the Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement back in 2006 when it was actually called the Kyoto Climate Protection Agreement. And we did it on our own and implemented a few programs, and I spoke to your newly formed environmental. The next thing that I wanted to address is I do a lot of documentaries, and right now I'm making some on human trafficking. So right now I'm making a documentary on human trafficking. And I realize you guys just formed a committee to address the problem in New Orleans of human trafficking, modern-day slavery. It was about juvenile issues. It was about 2 weeks ago there was a meeting that was assigned juvenile sex trafficking in New Orleans as a topic. And that is right now, there's 29 million people in the world that are currently in modern-day slavery. They rescue in New Orleans, French Quarter, on the average, a person every other day. And they're in homes where we've done some work with to help rehabilitate these young girls. Most of them are under 18. The issue there becomes, could we have used these monuments and the other ones that haven't been taken down to educate about modern-day slavery and what could be done? And most of these organizations, Loyola's a big one, they say the first thing that can happen is awareness, and then education, and then empowerment. Robert E. Lee had said slavery is a moral and political evil. We also know that P.G.T. Beauregard said equal rights, one country, one flag, one people. So we look at what these guys did as far as empowering people to get out of slavery. There was an issue there. And we have 6 other monuments that also could be looked at as how they can be better utilized. So for that end, I would say to take a look at what went on with that era and any other monuments before you remove them. The city of St. Louis, on their charter, they give monuments back to the people that donated them to the city. And as I researched the monuments, I didn't find that there was a malice with doing it, that these were, especially Beauregard, the neighbors of him liked him so much that they wanted to put up a monument to honor all he had done for New Orleans. Jeff Davis made sure the railroad came to New Orleans in the 1850s as opposed to Chicago. So looking at a thing you might assign to the Historic Commission is the charter says you to use monuments to educate and inform. So could the charter of New Orleans be applied to do that with these monuments that we currently have?
Okay, Mr. Marsala, if you could please bring your comments to close.
Will, 30 seconds here. Our site on how to do that, and we've made documentaries on these men, is savenolaheritage.org. There's also one thought that New Orleans could be a World Heritage Site, and these monuments that we have could help create that. I've done work on a World Heritage Site in Northeast Louisiana. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other